Hey, everybody. You are about to hear a brief retelling of the movie New Jack City. Enjoy the movie. New York City, 1986. In the middle of the day, black gangsters dangled a white man off a bridge for not paying back a debt on time. Laughing, the gangsters sent the debtor on a deadly flight. In the gangster neighborhood of Harlem, the bums are fighting over booze, and Scotty Appleton is haggling with Pookie to lower the price of the goods. Pookie asks to see the dough, and seeing that the bag is full of money, he hits Appleton and steals his dough. The robber rides down the stairs on a bicycle. Appleton tries to keep up with him. Pookie chooses not the most successful route and eventually falls off the bike. But the criminal did not think to stop. In the end, Appleton revealed that he is a policeman, took out a gun and wounded Pookie in the leg. He had to fend off gawkers who wanted to get their hands on the government money. Nino gained local authority. The gang also includes his childhood friend G-Money and bodyguard Stutterer Daman. G-Money shows the gangster a crag, which people get hooked on much faster than any other substance. It's a real revolution in their business. The gangsters came to the nightclub. Appleton was also there. The club is the location of the gangsters' den. Selena, Nina's girlfriend, brought her cousin Kareem, who traded his job as a programmer, for the gangster life, because here he is paid 10 times more. Nina shares with her team a terrible plan. He is going to turn the Carter apartment complex into a huge brothel. They're going to set up a lab there and put guards around the perimeter, but first they need to deal with Fat Smicky, who controls the Carter brothers. Keisha finishes off Jamaican Smicky right in front of a shocked crowd. Nina, on the other hand, stripped the owners of the apartment complex naked and forced him to sign over all the papers to him. That's how the bandits took possession of the Carter. They proceeded to terrorize and mop up. Many families were thrown out on the street and those who resisted were killed. The business grew to industrial proportions. 3 years have passed since then. The old man from Carter's has been trying to get the cops to do something, to no avail. The chief of police has no problem putting Mean Brown away, but he has to agree to take on 2 badass cops. One of whom shot his partner and the other got probation. Both policemen are suspended from service and disliked each other at first sight. Detective Stone has been tasked with setting up an independent drug task force, and he would like to see Appleton on it. He grew up in the neighborhood, so he is partial, and his partner will be the detective, a psychotic type who shoots whenever he wants. Frankie from the Italian Mafia came to Nina's place, taking Carter and finding a new supplier, leaving Don Armidio without 10% of the profits. They need to make a new deal. However, Nina just sent him away. Jim doesn't think Nina's behavior was unreasonable. Frankie immediately tells his boss that Nina traded them for Latinos and speaks without respect. To earn his reputation, Nina gives out food and equipment to the locals. Among the crowd, Scotty Appleton looked out for Pookie, whom he once shot. The guy's a lowlife, a drug addict and a homeless guy. He'd shoved poor people around to get free food, and he'd once wanted to be part of Nina's gang. Pookie traded the turkey for dope and now hangs out with the former prom queen. At one point, he decides to take a piece back and pounces on the girl. Scotty Appleton pulled him aside and pulled a gun on him. Pookie cries that he'd really like to quit, but he's so tempted to take another dose. Scotty Appleton forcefully drags Pookie to the clinic to get help. The boy coped with withdrawal and began to attend a group of former addicts. Bolton took patronage over Pookie and helps him cope with the trouble. He made the loser do sports. After some time, Pookie was able to overcome addiction and is now eager to help his savior. Throwing Nina in jail, the authority figure promised him a job if he quit. Pookie visited the liar and told him how everything works there. You can get into the inner courtyard only by showing a special card. It's like it's filled with zombies. Torch lying right on the ground. The building itself is computerized. On the second floor your code is read and the request is sent to the lab. From another box the client gets his goods. After that you can go home, where you can hang out in the Enterprise, a special room where scum get high. Nina celebrates New Year's Eve at the club with her cronies. The gangster hopes that nothing and no one will come between him and his best friend Jim-Ani. Frankie shows up at the club and gives Nina a gift as a sign of reconciliation. It turns out to be a statuette of a black man who put a rope around his neck. Nina smashed it over the Italian's head and cut off his tail. He ordered the pasta makers to be chased out of here by the neck. On the dance floor, Nina took a fancy to a stripper Uniqua, his friend's mistress. He complimented her right in front of his girlfriend. The lady starts to undress and Nina mocks Selena for not being able to have children. Stone is reprimanded by his boss for Appleton hiring a former junkie and dope fiend. He instructs the team that all operations must be caught on camera for evidence. Pookie agrees to put the camera equipment on himself because he's in the Carter, always on the lookout. The camera will be hidden in his belt and a sound transmitter will be hung on him. It's about time Pookie got a promotion for bringing in a bunch of new clients. Kareem takes him to headquarters and introduces him to Jumani, who puts Pookie to work in the pharmacy. Carter pirates doubt whether their agent can resist temptation when there is so much product around. However, Appleton believes in Pookie. This is an opportunity to atone for his sins and help the Black brothers, to do it in memory of the cop's mother, who was killed for nothing by some scumbag. Pookie stares greedily at each capsule, one he hides in his mouth and snaps. That night at work he showed up stoned. The cops tensed up just as the gangsters did. They searched for the fool and found the transmitter. The cops rushed to their agent's rescue and the gangsters set about destroying all evidence. In 2 minutes the headquarters should go up in flames. The squad burst into the Carter's yard and a firefight ensued. The iron door is blown open with explosives. Scotty Appleton helps the residents evaluate. There is fire everywhere. He was finally able to find Pookie, or rather his body, which was strapped with a bomb. Appleton proceeded to defuse it. He managed to do it 3 seconds before the explosion. G-Money called just as Nina was having fun in bed with his girlfriend. He gathered his men to find out how the thief got in. Nina believes that Jumani is to blame because he has been in charge of the Carter lately. He blamed Kareem, who brought Pookie to him. Nina stabbed the programmer in the arm and almost strangled him. Blood from the knife he wiped on his friend and said that he would not tolerate such joints again. Only the cops and a few homeless people he knew went to Pookie's funeral. Carter summarized, the operation had failed, they hadn't arrested anyone. And during the raid killed several cops. They could have succeeded if Scotty Appleton did not put everything on the junkie. The hero admits that he himself used to be like Pookie. Dependence is not only the problem of black guys. Appleton intends to punish Nina Brown using any methods. Partners Porter of Liezia mafioso Frankie and demanded to enter them with Jumani. They introduced themselves as suppliers of goods. The Italian himself finally settled accounts with Nina. Scotty Appleton traipsed onto the basketball court where the principals were playing. Nina didn't like the fact that a friend was doing business with some stranger and ordered a search for the hairy man. And then he chased him away. Kareem thinks he has seen this stranger somewhere. Jumani convinces Nina that he has checked the supplier. He can be trusted. Besides, his goods are 60% cheaper. Nina tells his partner that when he joined the gang, he was supposed to kill some stranger. Just like that, he got high and shot some woman, like a teacher. It's so similar to what happened to Scotty Appleton's mom. Nina recruits kids by giving them dollars. An old man comes to pick up his grandson and accuses the authority figure of making millions by killing his own people. The old man was kicked in the kidneys, after which he pulled out a gun, but Appleton took away the weapon and thus saved his life, and at the same time rubbed into the confidence of Nina. The agent admitted that Jumani wanted to negotiate with him without the knowledge of the authority, while all members of the organization were at the wedding of the priest's daughter. Jump broke into Nina's mansion and opened his safe, where he found diskettes with financial reports. Nina has finally given up on Selena and is hanging out with Uniqua. When the guests were already dispersing, the Italians opened fire on Pannon and his men. The authority figure grabbed the girl to cover himself with her. Scotty Appleton wanted to seize the moment and kill his enemy, but it was Keisha who went to the other side. Selena became hysterical. She was fed up with Nina and he ordered her kicked out of the house. The main man received a call from Don Armadio confirming that war had been declared on him. It was time to retaliate. Nina gave the order to kill all the mafia members and take down the Don himself. Armatel and 10 of his men were shot, having received a diskette with important data. Carter returned to the case, but to put Nina in the ground, the proof is still missing. He didn't make it onto Pookie's tapes. The reports also didn't mention if they found witnesses or recorded Nina buying the merchandise. In that case, an operation was organized. Scotty Appleton was supposed to pull off the deal personally with Nina, but when he was already getting the goods, Kareem finally recognized the supplier as the cop who arrested Pookie. The undercover agent came scrambling into the building, other cops rushed in, and a shootout ensued. The thugs shafted the cops. One of them had his throat personally slit by Nina. Then he stabs Detective Park. Stutterer's bodyguard almost took Peretti with him to the other world, but Scotty Appleton managed to save his partner. The cop was able to immediately return the favor when the fighter reached for his Uzi. Nina himself escaped and charged Jemani with trying to negotiate with Appleton behind his back, all because the friend was using and his mind was clouded. Germany admitted it was all about the woman. Nina had embarrassed him by sleeping with Undercover, treating him like a wimp and a coward. Although they had achieved everything together, he wished they could be like a family again. Instead, however, Nina pulled out a gun and shot his best friend. The authority figure is on the run, and the local boys refuse to admit where he is hiding, except for one. The scumbag burned his acquaintance alive for cheating him out of $5. Guy told us where Nina lives now. The pirates tackled the guard in the entryway, and Appleton flew in through the window. The gunfight turned into a melee. The cop threw the perp out on the stairs and began beating him in front of the local population. Scotty Appleton threw the bad guy down. The woman he killed was his mother. The poor people demand the poison merchant be killed. Appleton pointed a gun at the bandit, but Stone asked him to stop, and Selena said she would testify against Nina. Nina Brown's trial began. He admitted that he was a member of the gang and traded substances, but he is only a pawn, and the real leader and think tank is the programmer Kareem. He threatened to kill Nina's mother if he left the gang. Also, Nina agreed to tell about all the connections and give up the whole organization. Nina got only 3 years for his deal, with the possibility of getting out early after 1 year. Scotty Appleton regretted that he did not kill the authority on the street, but his mistake was to correct the old man who appeared in court and shot the bandit in the chest. He fell from a height and crashed to his death.